Today's second video for you is firstly, we have a new story from Gondar where police and security forces have raided the house of a Fano commander. We know that since the killings of some Muslim community members last week in Gondar, Muslims have been protesting. They chanted slogans against Fano in some protests in Kambolcha. We saw a huge gathering where Muslims demanded disbanding of Fano. Now, Fano commander, his house has been raided reportedly in Gondar. Is this raid linked to what happened last week in Gondar? Secondly, a Tigrayan general, Gebremedhin Fekadu, died in prison. We know that Ethiopian government and Tigray government have conflicting positions about the cause of the death of Tigrayan ENDF general Wedi Necho. Today he was buried. He was laid to rest in Addis Ababa, and Tigrayans attended the funeral ceremony in large numbers. They protested as well at the funeral ceremony of ENDF Tigrayan General Abune Mathias, Patriarch of Orthodox Church, also attended the ceremony. What does it indicate? Abune Mathias's attendance at this funeral ceremony, what does it indicate? We have some clips for you as well. Let's start with a new story from Gondar. We know that last week clashes erupted between Muslims and Christians. Muslims were attending a funeral ceremony of a local religious scholar, Sheikh Kamal Ligas, who was well respected by both Christians and Muslims. During the funeral ceremony, clashes started. Then clashes spread in Gondar city. Houses of Muslims were burnt, and according to Gondar Islamic Affairs Supreme Council, several women were raped and property was damaged as well in Gondar. Muslims say that 21 of their community members were killed. Christian community said that some of their fellows were also killed. Then we saw protests. We saw protests in Amhara region, in Oromia, in Addis Ababa, Somali region, Dire Diva. Across Ethiopia, we saw Muslim community protest. And in SNNPR as well, Muslim protested, and there in Silte zone of SNNPR, a Christian youth was allegedly stoned to death by Muslims. So tensions were there, and Muslims were demanding arrest of perpetrators. And in some protests, Muslims chanted slogans against Fano. They said Fano was involved, Fano, Amhara region-based militia was involved in Gondar incident, especially in Kambolcha, where Muslims had a large protest rally. There they demanded disbanding of Fano, disarming of Fano. So we were waiting to see how security forces tackle the situation. Now, reportedly, security forces have raided the house of a Gondar Fano commander. His name is Solomon Etnau. He is from Gondar. His house is close to Gondar city. A few hours ago, in the early morning, reportedly, his house was raided. He argued with security officials that he asked about any search warrants. Security officials did not have any search warrants, but they searched his house entirely. It is being said that this raid was conducted in connection with Gondar incident. security forces want to see, they want to determine the role, if any, of Fano in last week's violence. We're not saying that Fano is involved. Security forces are investigating the incident. That is why they raided the house of Solomon at the now. We have no reliable information to say that Fano is involved, but investigations are underway. Secondly, what's very important news story is from Addis Ababa, Ethiopian capital. The news story is from Holy Trinity Cathedral, where General Gebremedhin Fekadu was laid to rest, also called Wedi Necho. He is a Tigrayan, an ENDF Major General, and he was put in prison in November 2020 after the start of Tigray conflict. On the 3rd of November, Tigray supporters, Tigray forces, they attacked Northern Command military bases of Ethiopian National Defense Force in Tigray. Back then, Wedi Necho was working as head of communications of Ethiopian National Defense Force. He was charged, he was accused that he cut off communications to facilitate the attack on Northern Command by Tigray fighters. So he was immediately arrested. He was charged with treason. A trial was also underway against him reportedly. He has died in prison. And since then, we have been seeing conflicting statements about the cause of his death. Government says that he died a natural death, but we saw a statement from Kata Choreda, Tigray presidential spokesperson. He said it's a murder, pure and simple. So Tigray says there is no doubt about this thing that Gebremedhin Fekadu was murdered. His trial was underway, and according to his lawyer, he was very optimistic. He was very hopeful that he would be pleaded innocent. Before the verdict, he has died. Now, today he was laid to rest at Saint Holy Trinity Cathedral in Addis Ababa. Firstly, Abune Mathias, Patriarch of the Orthodox Church, attended his funeral ceremony. It's very important. Abune Mathias is also of Tigrayan ethnicity, and it is said by anti-Tigray groups that Abune Mathias supports TPLF. In one of his statements, in one of his video messages, he condemned genocide of Tigrayans. Then he appeared on Tigray Media House, which is a Tigray-backed news source. And we know that 2 days ago, he was invited by Ethiopian PM to a luncheon at in Addis Ababa. And there are some sources who are Tigray-backed. They say that there he spoke against PM Abiy. He said that PM Abiy was responsible, his government was responsible for the killing of innocent Ethiopians. It is said, we have no confirmation, mostly Tigray-backed news sources and anti-PM Abiy government sources, they have reported that during the luncheon, Abune Mathias lashed out at PM Abiy and his government. So he attended the ceremony, funeral ceremony of the ENDF Tigrayan general. Can we say that it's a way of showing solidarity with Tigrayans, this gesture from Abune Mathias? How many funeral ceremonies have been attended by Abune Mathias in the past of ENDF commanders, ENDF generals? We don't know, but if he has attended some funeral ceremonies in the past as well of ENDF officers, then it's not something new. But if it's for the first time that he is attending the funeral ceremony of some top ENDF Major General, obviously it's a message that he is that he agrees with Tigray's position and he feels for the people of Tigray. Tigrayans protested at the funeral ceremony of Wedi Necho, where hundreds were there in front of Holy Trinity Cathedral. They chanted slogans. They demanded the release of imprisoned Tigrayans. They said that on the basis of ethnicity, people should not be targeted in Ethiopia. Watch two video clips for you. You can hear people chanting slogans. This is the funeral ceremony of Major General Gebremedhin Fekadu. Watch these two clips from Addis Ababa. Thank you for watching.
Ya Allah yang semoga ajudan